With the 2017-2018 season about to start, it's time to discuss one of the biggest changes to Dota 2 and how it's going to be run. No, not that one. Kinda getting there? Oh, for fuck's sakes. The qualifying system for TI8. Namely, that every major and minor will now give out qualifying points. Yay, we don't have to guess what the hell is going on in Valve's mind. Instead, we have an actual system to point out and explain. And it's important that we pinpoint that this is a new and brave step for Valve, mainly because any system that will be used will never be perfect. Yes, Nahaz, stats do lie. If we use them wrong. Okay, I'll give you that. So, how are we going to have a Road to TI8 ladder? There's a lot of options and opinions in making a ranking system, so let's have a look at the biggest questions. The cutoff. I feel that there will be a top 10 cut with 6 to 8 qualifiers for the remaining 6 slots. That's pretty much it. There's not much else you can do with this sort of system. How highly should we weight first place finishes? In most systems, first gives out more points. It's used in tennis, it's used in snooker, and it's used in bike racing. Even in these sports, however, there is a big difference in ratio. The biggest thing here is that no system is the correct one, and while some people will want a big reward for first places, some will value higher places for a top 4, and some will want evenness across the board. I could make a dozen point systems, and almost all of them will be usable. For now, I believe that Valve and the Dota community values winning tournaments a lot, but top 4 should be the biggest payout. So expect a medium advantage, maybe in the 170 ratio. How much does winning a minor give versus winning a major? Thankfully, we do have a rough estimate on how this will work thanks to the initial Valve blog post. Points are increased due to prize pool, so we should expect a minor being worth around 1/3 of a major. There will be arguments on which side this should slide, so I'm going to argue in the middle. A minor win should be around 40 points, and a major win should be 100 points. There, 2.5 minors equal 1 major, just to piss everybody off. Here's a chart. Obviously, this chart won't be what is used at all, but it's a rough test bench to work out kinks in systems and to give a general idea on what could happen. So let's see as to how this system will work on the previous season as a guide. Top 6 should be the top 6 teams invited to TI7 at least, which should be good, and what do you know? And what about the top 10? Okay, so already here is the biggest outlier, but before the NA qualifiers, they were expected to wreck everyone. Having them eliminated in the qualifiers was a huge upset after all. Secret, TNC, and IG Vitality were the teams that finished the top 10, with NP or C9 narrowly missing out. Overall, I think this is a pretty good job, so that's points sorted out for placements. What's next on the list? Direct invites, oh boy. Okay, so we've had the qualifiers problems mostly solved. The 6 regions must have a qualifying team, you can't merge regions, etc, etc. This leads to probably the most decisive question. Do we need regulation on direct invites? How many can you give out? What can you do with them? Etc, etc. The short answer that I feel is the safest is probably an expansion of 2 rules. 1, tournament organizers that own part of a team can't have that team be a direct invite to a major minor, but they can go through a qualifier. And 2, the number of invites can't exceed the number of qualifying teams using some ratio. That's it. Will we disagree with some invites that tournaments give? Of course we will. Will different regions prioritize giving invites to their own region? Of course, fans at LANs want to see their local team. But in general, this isn't a huge problem. Event fatigue, or the limit. How many events should a team be expected to go to during a season? The answer to this is probably going to change from person to person and team to team, but the simple factor that a team cannot go to every single event due to time constraints means that teams are going to start making very difficult choices on what events to prioritize. I believe that this year there won't be any rules about this, but we need to start thinking towards the future and seeing how this season folds out. Should teams be penalized for roster changes outside of the period? Yes, and they should be penalized using points deductions. What if a team fails to attend a tournament? If it's an immigration issue, such as a visa problem, they receive the lowest placing points. If it's because they're going to a different tournament, they get nothing. What if teams remove all players during an out trade period, then re-add only some of them? Percentage of points deducted from the organization for breaking trade rules. This is simple. And there's the siren. So, how do you think a ranking system for the 2017-2018 season should work? Was I completely wrong about everything? Tell me in the comments or on this Twitter thing. This is Dropbear, and Valve will probably release their own toll system in the next 2 days to make this video completely goddamn useless. Yay!